Well, I think we thought that was quite interesting for quite some time. I think we have a fairly long track record back like 10, 12 years ago already here in Europe. I just mentioned that we have much more exposure in the US, where we have 15 to 20% of our allocations out to industrial and logistics, and it's certainly something where we have lagged a little bit behind in Europe, but nevertheless we see those similar growth trends. And at the moment, certainly it's something which is picked up by our clients as well, because I think e-commerce is certainly something which they can quite easily understand where their growth coming from. If you just look at themselves, basically they can just see how they interact in the retail space and how much of their own, let's say, retail turnover is going into e-commerce or is going online, and it's certainly something where it's at the moment a fairly easy sell for clients just to go into that segment, but nevertheless, I think there remain a lot of those questions, particularly in the long term, because I think the market itself or the sector itself is exposed to disruptions like that. The demand can change also from operators over time. So I think it's certainly where we have to feel comfortable where that pricing should sit long term in this respect. Arguably, it was maybe looking more attractive in the past, where we were going for entry yields around north of 7% often enough and something like that. I mean, these days are over most of the countries and the sectors we operate, but nevertheless, I think this is still the pricing of that risk right now is certainly something which is very interesting, but nevertheless, it should not stop anyone to look at that growth sector.
I think if you look at the percentage of online sales at the moment, they're roughly at about 20% of all retailing is done online. I think a recent survey by Barclays said by 2024 or 2025, 50% of all retailing will be done online. I think it might even happen sooner than that. I think what it's going to create is a new investment, sort of an asset class in terms of its investment. I think if you look at the people who are taking the space, the likes of Amazon, they're prepared to take long-term leases, they're prepared to have rental uplifts, they've got a fantastic covenant. So from an investor perspective, what's not to like with that type of investment?